Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Devedi, and in this segment we bring to you objective questions on a daily basis to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of the last segment. Consider the following statements. Digital twin is a virtual replica of the physical world to simulate real life situations and analyze its impacts. Digital twins integrate the historical data sets such as weather records and real-time dynamic interaction along with the digital representation of physical assets. So we have to select the correct statement. Both are correct. The correct answer is option C. And Hyundai Motors has partnered with the Unity, the world's leading platform for real-time 3D content, in order to connect an actual factory with its digital twin operating on metaverse space. When metaverse is a buzzword now, digital twin is a virtual replica of the physical world, and its dynamics and processes allow us to simulate a very real-life situation. Digital twins are composed of three parts, namely the physical entities in the physical world, virtual models in the virtual world, and the connected data that tie the two worlds. Now, digital twins not only integrate the digital representation of physical assets like physical systems of pipes, pumps, valves, tanks, but they also include historical data sets so that it could be more real, such as weather records, real-time dynamic interaction, in order to allow them to be used for multiple things. And let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements. Black holes are points in space that are so dense that they create deep gravity sinks. And the theory that primordial black holes are a source of dark matter was proposed by Professor Stephen Hawking. So as we have to select the correct statement, both are correct. Option C will be the answer. And on his 80th birth anniversary, Google paid tribute to English cosmologist, author, and theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking with an animated video on its homepage. Black holes are a region of space having a gravitational field so deep and intense that no matter or radiation can escape through it. The theory that primordial black holes are a source of dark matter was proposed by Professor Stephen Hawking. Moving on. Consider the following statements regarding cheetah. It is the only carnivore that has been eliminated from India due to overhunting. African cheetah is bigger in size than Asiatic cheetah, and both African and Asiatic cheetah are listed as endangered in the IUCN Red List. So as we have to select the correct statement, first and second are definitely correct, but third is not. Why? Because African cheetah is not critically endangered. But if we talk about Asiatic cheetahs, they are listed at critically endangered. So option A is correct, 1 and 2. Recently, the Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change has launched the action plan for reintroduction or introduction of cheetah in India. Not reintroduction, but introduction. Under which 50 of these big cats will be introduced in the next 5 years, and reintroduction of large carnivores have increasingly been recognized as a strategy to conserve threatened species and restore the ecosystem balance. The cheetah is the only large carnivore that has been eliminated mainly by overhunting in India in historical times, and the cheetah is one of the oldest and one of the biggest cat species with ancestors that can be traced back more than 5 million years to the Miocene era. Cheetah is also the world's fastest land mammal that lives in Africa and Asia both. The African cheetah is bigger in size, and the latter is small, the Asiatic cheetah, and paler and has more fur with a smaller head and longer neck. And the African cheetah is vulnerable in the IUCN Red List, while Asiatic cheetah is critically endangered. Consider the following statements regarding the UJALA Scheme. So it is the world's largest zero-subsidy domestic lighting program. National Power Corporation Limited has been designated as the nodal agency for implementing this program. Energy Efficiency Services Limited is the nodal agency, so second is not correct, but first is correct. Option A is the right answer. Now, recently, the Ministry of Power has successfully completed 7 years of distributing the selling LED lights under the flagship UJALA Scheme. The initiative evolved into the world's largest zero-subsidy domestic lighting program with more than 36.78 crore LEDs distributed across the country. Launched in 2015 and initially labeled as the LED-based Domestic Efficient Lighting Program (DELP), it aims to promote the efficient usage of energy for all and its consumption, savings and lighting. EESL, I did say some wrong word at the beginning, it should be Energy Efficiency Services Limited. And a government company under the administrative control of the Ministry of Power has been designated as the implementing agency of the program, and every domestic household having a metered connection from their respective electricity distribution company is eligible in order to get the LED bulbs under the scheme. Moving on, Consider the following statements regarding election campaigning. A candidate can be disqualified if he or she spends more than the prescribed limit for election campaign, the amount. And there is no cap on a political party's expenditure for campaigning, as we have to select the correct statement. So, C is the correct answer. The expenditure limit for candidates for Lok Sabha constituency was increased from 54 lakh to 70 lakh. Okay. And then to 70 lakh, then from 70 to 95 lakh by the Election Commission of India. And then the spending limit for assembly constituencies were hiked from the given amount to 28 lakh from then 40 lakh. And it is the amount an election candidate can legally spend, okay, for election campaign, which comprises of many things like public meetings, rallies, advertisement, posters, banners, vehicles, and advertisement. And all candidates are required to submit their expenditure statement to the ECI within 30 days of the completion of election. So, if we talk about incorrect account or expenditure beyond the cap which was given for disqualification, ECI, there can be a disqualification by the ECI for up to 3 years. And that is given not in the Constitution but Section 10, Clause A of RPA, that is Representation of People Act 1951. Remember this. And there is no cap on a political party's expenditure, which is often exploited by the candidates of the party. So, next question asks us that which of the following countries have a border with Turkmenistan? Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan. So, Turkmenistan has its borders with Iran, Uzbekistan, and Afghanistan. So, 2, 3, and 4, option B is correct. The Union Cabinet, chaired by the Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, has approved the signing of Memorandum of Understanding between India and Turkmenistan on cooperation in the field of disaster management. Keyword here is disaster management, India and Turkmenistan. So, it puts in place a system where both India and Turkmenistan will benefit from the disaster management mechanism of each other. And Turkmenistan is located in the Southwest and Central Asian region, which is bordered by Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, and Iran. Do take out a map and look at it. Okay, so here also we have a map to help you. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to the Collective Security Treaty Organization. It originated in the conclusion of the Collective Security Treaty, which was signed in Tashkent on May 15, 1992. And it is a military alliance comprising of Russia, Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Tajikistan. So we have to select the correct statement. First statement is definitely correct. Second is not, because apart from when it came to renewing, it was earlier there for only 5 years. But when we talk about renewal, Azerbaijan, Belarus, and basically some countries were there. They did not want to continue it. So obviously we have to minus certain members. Option A will be the correct answer. Now Kazakh's president, 𝐃𝐫𝐤𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢 requested the support of Moscow-led Collective Security Treaty Organization amidst a national crisis in Kazakhstan, with the government officials stepping down on Tuesday following days of violent protests across the country. CSTO, it concluded on May 15, 1992 in the year 1992, and it was signed in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. And it was signed by the heads of Armenia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. Later, Azerbaijan, Belarus, and Georgia also joined. But the treaty came into force in 1994, and 5 years later, 6 of the 9 members, they said, let's renew this treaty to make it become as a military organization. Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Uzbekistan, they did not agree. So we have to move away Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Uzbekistan from the second statement. Okay, so that is why that is incorrect. The key article of the treaty is the 4th one, which is like the NATO pact. Okay, NATO also has an alliance that is military in nature. Similarly, we have it here. If one of the participating states is subjected to aggression by any state or group of states, then it will be considered an aggression against all the states that are party to the treaty. Moving on. With respect to the E-Shram Portal, consider the following statements. The aim of the portal is to create a national database of unorganized workers which can be seeded with ration cards. It will also include migrant workers, construction workers, gig and platform workers. So we have to select the correct statement. If we talk about the first statement, this is not correct because it should be seeded with Aadhaar card, the database. Second, it will also include, apart from construction workers and migrant workers, the gig and platform workers as well. So B is the correct answer. Alright. 20 crore unorganized workers have registered on the E-Shram Portal. And on the achievement, Ministry of Labour and Employment has thanked everyone for their efforts. E-Shram Portal was launched in 2021. 26th August was the date. And the aim was to create a national database of unorganized workers so that social security scheme can be extended to them, which will be seeded with Aadhaar. It will have many details such as name, occupation, address, educational qualifications, skill types, family details for optimum realization of their employability and extend the benefits of the social security scheme. Now, it is the first ever national database of unorganized workers, including migrant workers, construction workers, gig and platform workers. Let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements with respect to National Commission for Women. The first commission was constituted on 31st January 1992 with Mrs. Jayanti Patnaik as the chairperson. The functions of the commission are described under the Section 10 of the NCW Act, so we have to select the correct statement. Both are correct. The correct answer is option C. The National Commission for Women issued a summon notice to popular hairstylist Javed Habib after a video showing him spit on a woman while styling her hair. Now, this went viral on social media. The National Commission for Women was set up as a statutory body in January 1992 under the National Commission for Women Act 1990. It aims to review the constitutional and legal safeguards for women, recommend remedial legislative measures, and facilitate redressal of grievances and advise the government on policy matters affecting women. First commission was constituted on 31st January 1992 with Mrs. Jayanti Patnaik as the chairperson, and the function of NCW are described in the Section 10 of NCW Act. Consider the following statements with respect to the Special Protection Group Act. It was enacted after the assassination of the former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. The amendment in 2019 to the Act was the amendment of primarily Section 4 of the Act. So we have to select the correct statement. First statement is not correct because it should be Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, not Rajiv Gandhi. And the amendment in 2019 was to Section 4 of the Act. This is correct. The correct answer is option B. The centre is considering action under the Special Protection Group Act against Punjab police officers following an alleged breach in security of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji during his visit to Punjab on Wednesday. SPG Act 1988 provides for the constitution and regulation of an armed force of the Union for providing proximate security to the Prime Minister of India and the former Prime Minister of India and member of their immediate families. And the Act was passed by the Parliament after the assassination of the former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi ji. It was extended to all former Prime Ministers and their immediate families after former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated. And the SPG was amended in 2019. If we talk about the section, it's Section 4. In order to reduce SPG coverage to only the Prime Minister and members of his immediate family residing with him at his official residence, the 2019 amendment further reduced the time period for SPG cover to the former Prime Minister and their immediate family to 5 years after they leave the office, provided that the immediate family member resided at the allotted residence with the former Prime Minister. So, which state has been awarded first prize for efforts towards water conservation in the National Water Awards 2020? The correct answer is option B, Uttar Pradesh. The National Waters Award was launched by the Ministry in 2018, and this year a total of 57 awards across 11 different categories were announced. Okay, so Uttar Pradesh on Friday bagged the first prize for awards towards water conservation in the National Water Awards, which was organized by Union Minister of Jal Shakti. And Rajasthan and Tamil Nadu, they bagged the second and third prizes respectively. So first is Uttar Pradesh, then we have Rajasthan, and then we have Tamil Nadu. And the ministry also announced that the ITC Limited Kolkata and Adani Foundation Gujarat have secured the first and second positions respectively in the best industry for CSR activities. Moving on, let's look at the practice question for the next segment. Consider the following statements regarding Pradhan Mantri Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises. It is a centrally sponsored scheme launched by the Ministry of Food Processing Industry, and it enables the existing individual micro food processing units to avail credit-linked capital subsidy at 35% of the eligible project cost for upgrading their units. So we have to select the correct statement. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, please stay safe, please, and stay updated. And thank you so much for watching.